Hey, Johnny, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Uh, there we go.
Welcome, welcome.
Good to see you, Landon. Michael, how you doing, man?
Good. Nice to meet you.
Good. Nice to meet you too, brother. How are you doing? You guys hanging in there?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Johnny, thank you so much. We're really excited for this interview and the wisdom that you're going to be sharing with our viewers and listeners today, because
I
we're
hope
going
I
to be
got
going
that.
over a lot. Yeah, no, it's good
I
wisdom.
got the wisdom. I hope so.
No, we're very confident that just from what Michael and I know about your life story, your experiences, fighting cancer and launching a nonprofit. We're really excited to just dive into your 20s and speak about all this.
Well, wonderful. Any ways I can help you, I root for all entrepreneurs, and it's great that you guys are doing and trying to create and do something that offer, content. So let me know, and I know Landon knows this, but Michael as well. Let me know when I can help you guys, or recruiting maybe some other people that might be open to be good interviews for you too. Stalk my LinkedIn. Let me know if you see some guys in there, or women or guys or whoever in there that could be good. I'm happy to help you guys. But it's great that you're doing something positive and taking the time to do it. So Landon also knows this. Michael, I'm as open book as they come. I talk about like testicular cancer and losing a ball like it's like your finger. It's like no big deal to me. I'm really open. So whether it's the cancer stuff, but ask anything you guys want. I will let you guys be the captains of the ship, and I'll come along with you.
Thank
Of
you.
course. Johnny, thank you. Thank you for being open about that. And I guess we can now start, with the first question. It's
Sure.
on the subject of, uncertainty and just when unexpected things happen in life. We want to speak about, before you were diagnosed with cancer, maybe
Mhm.
what were some of the career goals that you had, and how were those ultimately shifted after you found out about your cancer?
Yeah, thank you, Landon. There's no question about it. In my life, going through cancer from 26 to 28 years old, spending the better part of, 2 years of your 20s in chemo and surgeries. I moved into my mom's house because my chemos were 8 hours a day, every day, Monday through Friday, pretty much. And so my mom would drive me to chemo. I can't really drive a car, so I'm like moving back in after most people in the 20s, kind of want to move out and have this freedom, move back in with my mom. She's driving me to treatments. You're sick in the hospital. My friends were amazing, but the fact remains that, they were so supportive, but they're out and they're going to work and they're building their careers, or they're in grad school, or they're going on dates or going to restaurants and parties. And of course, I wasn't doing any of it. You can't do those things when you were sick. So it had a huge impact on my career. And really what happened at the end of 2 years, I was 28, 29, very typical for a lot of young adult cancer survivors. The trauma of it, we're like so grateful that we are still alive and here, that we oftentimes make very big, oftentimes many big rash decisions. Sometimes they work out well, sometimes they don't, but it's kind of typical. As I've learned later, you make these big decisions because you're like, oh my God, I'm still alive. I can do anything in the world. I'm still here, and nothing is as bad as dying. It's not going to kill you no matter what I do career wise, dating wise, whatever it is. For me, there were multiple big changes in my life. Career was a huge one. I ended up quitting my job. I used to work in commercial real estate, and I liked it, but I knew it wasn't the end all and it wasn't as satisfying. There was something missing. I just didn't know what it was. Quit that job in that career, the corporate world, changed to the nonprofit world. I left Detroit area where I'm born and raised, and a lot of my friends and family are here. Moved to Chicago. I mean, not that far away, but 4 hours away, and moved to Chicago. And at 29, we started as a team, Imerman Angels. And I guess I just kind of realized, I'm like, wait, I want to do what I love the most. And my friends were all like, go build it. You're already doing Imerman Angels as a volunteer. Why don't you do it full time? I never would have thought that I could work full time in the nonprofit world. I was just kind of horse blinders thinking that the corporate world's where you make a living. And then you obviously volunteer at night and you make donations at night and weekends. And that's what you do to do good. And then it became sort of my whole world, the career. It became the career piece too, the nonprofit world. So, building Imerman Angels as this team has done in the last 15 years or so has been exhilarating and awesome and fun. And we have 9 full-time staff now. It supports 9 full-time families. Several have children. It can pay for their kids, but more importantly, everyone on this team loves what we do, and we love helping people that have cancer. And it's like an honor for us to be able to work in something every day and love it and make a difference for families that are facing cancer and terrified if they're going to make it or not. So it definitely affected my career in a big way. And I'm still in social impact. Now we even have another social impact startup called CLOZTALK, but it set me on a different path, no question about it, my cancer experience.
Jonny, that's really amazing. Just that total career path from commercial real estate to really something that impacts everyone. It's helping so many people. And how did you come up with the idea for Imerman Angels? Was it, something somebody was telling you about, or you just one day came up with the idea? What was your inspiration for that?
Thank you, Michael, for the question. It was a group. And I think if anyone tells you that they went out and built something amazing and they did it by themselves and it was all their idea, I would say don't believe them. It happens as a team. And Imerman Angels is exactly that. It was a group of young survivors, and we all met at the very end of my treatments. And we were in the hospital and we start, becoming friends. We had everything in common. We were all young. We were all cancer survivors. But the key point is we didn't know each other from the start. It was a very disorganized system. We all just were in our own channels, going back to our own homes, going to our own hospital room, and then going back to your own home again. And there wasn't like a connection. But at the end, it sort of happened randomly in Detroit area where I was living. And this group of young survivors and we all agreed that we wanted to give back and we wanted to do something. We became close friends, and it was the original sort of pack of angels where we said, let's be mentors. Let's go back on Saturday and just go door to door. We knew all the doctors. We were treated there for many of us years. They knew us. We knew them. We knew the nurses. We knew the social workers. So they would send us into rooms. In the beginning, how it started, it was a very gradual build because in the beginning, it was just a bunch of survivors together as a pack of angels, of survivors, going on Saturday, spending the afternoon, going door to door, just talking to people that were sick, walking in rooms. And what we found is people were open arms. They were so excited that we cared and we wanted to talk to them. And they were blown away that we actually beat cancer recently. And we knew all the terms. We knew what PICC lines were. We knew the names of the chemos. We knew radiation. We just knew it because we lived it. And that's kind of how we realized, wait, our stories are really valuable. When you're in that first mile of the 26.2 marathon of cancer, that first mile, everything's fresh, everything's new. You don't speak the language and you're scared. Almost everybody. By the time you're at 26.2, it's a marathon. You've crossed the finish line. You've learned what every mile marker on the marathon looks like. You know the terrain, you know the bends, you understand the journey. You're able to really teach these younger people, or these fresh people, I should say, what's coming and what they should expect. And so after doing this for literally years, we did this as volunteers in Detroit after my own cancer, and then a group of us in Chicago were doing it well before we even filed to become an official nonprofit 501c3. And it was only after a while we realized when we're going in door to door in these rooms, sometimes a room you walk into, and let's say it's me and another guy, Mike, and another guy, Sam, and the three of us walk in as young adult males. And then we walk into the room and it's a woman who's 70 with stage 3 ovarian cancer. And the beauty is it's human, right? She still was excited to talk to young people who were cancer survivors, who cared about her. Most of these people are alone. That's the reality. So she was excited to see us. But at the end, we discussed as a group, we're like, this needs to be more precise. Like, why don't we find another woman that's 75 named Susie who beat stage 3 ovarian cancer, who also lives nearby, who says, wait, I'm just like you, literally same age, same cancer, same gender, same chemos, same treatments, someone exactly like that woman, and then just line them up one to one. And then we basically realized that this door to door sort of random pump ups could be more organized. Let's build a system out of this. And that's when we really started to get better, because we realized, okay, it's going to be all one-to-one, and let's recruit angels. Let's recruit survivors first. And that's when we started getting the word out. We started to make t-shirts. We started to encourage our friends to wear them. We gave them to friends who were bartenders or worked in restaurants or worked at places like WeWork in the city. And we're like, people that were just out a lot and could wear t-shirts were like, rock our logo. And the more it got out there, that's how we started to recruit our survivor base, which is now over 12,000 people, survivors, family members who mentor. And that's when we realized in that period that we have to line them up apples to apples. Because sometimes you get somebody that says, I want somebody my race. I want somebody who's Black or who's Asian or who's, biracial or who is Catholic, Jewish, someone who's gay, someone who's straight, someone who's bisexual, this age, that age. So we ask all these questions because we don't know what that person wants until they ask us. So we need to know all this information on our survivors in order to find them. Because sometimes, you feel like you're going to connect better to someone if it's your native language you're speaking, or your race feels like a deeper connection, or your religion. Faith is a huge part of who you are. Everyone's different. But as long as you talk to the people that are sick and you ask them what they want, and then our job is to go deliver it. And so I think it's a good point for anyone listening that, whether you're in business or it's nonprofit or whatever, you can't form a solution to help someone or satisfy a customer, if you will, until you ask these questions. So we're really big on talking to everyone who's sick with cancer, getting to know them wherever they are in the world. We help people anywhere in the world, finding out what's important to them individually. Everyone's different. And then custom fit, finding that person in our network, using technology. We use Salesforce to basically help us search quickly by keywords to find the person that we already know and have trained to find them to connect. But that's the real magic, getting the right two people in the same room at the right time. That's how you're going to help people.
Jonny, I love that you shared that with us. I loved really seeing how you put the puzzle pieces of this together. And a lot of this was from what you experienced, within your own life. But a lot of times finding the solution is by, reflecting on what you went through related to this. So that was really neat to hear about. So within Imerman Angels, you've created this network, of course, between, people undergoing cancer currently and the angels, the mentors, the cancer survivors. And these are very, close interactions between the people. And I think that this could be a wonderful opportunity now for us to discuss the importance of, creating networks. What advice do you have when it comes to, wanting to connect with other people, join these different networks, pure networking? What's your advice for networking?
Lan, it's a great question. I'm glad you asked it, because if you look at what we've done with Imerman Angels, we talk to everyone. We get to know you. We figure out who you are, what you're going through, what type of cancer, where you're from, where you live. What do you want? What's important to you? Are you a big sports person? Are you more of an intellectual? You have to get to know somebody in order to be able to add value to them, to find them. Once we know them, then we look at our database, say we have a good connection for you, someone that lines up to exactly who you are and what you like. So when I apply that same principle, when you apply that principle to networking, think of it more just like building relationships, just like we have, because you got to get to know people. And when I'm out and meeting people, first of all, it helps if you love people. And I think both you guys do. You wouldn't be doing this unless you loved and were fascinated by people. I freaking love people. It's like why we're here, right? It's people, it's animals too. I'm a dog lover too, love animals, but living things, and what makes them tick. So if you're curious and you're interested, you're going to naturally ask questions and get to know them. But ultimately, that should be your goal when you build relationships with people, is actually building a relationship, get to know them. And then maybe if you get to know them and you've done that with other people that you've also gotten to deeply know, it's going to click to you, say, wait, you know what? I know somebody you should know. And for reason X, Y, Z. Or you're looking for this. Guess what? I have a neighbor in my building who is in that same industry. Maybe you should just know each other. And if you're going into building relationships with that attitude to add value to new people you're going to meet, and you've built solid relationships with everyone, it's going to click to you who to introduce. And that's really how and I think the people that we know, definitely the Imerman Angels teams, we're always thinking about connections and how do we connect to help people. That is the key. And it's fun. It should be fun. You make an introduction that helps two people do more together. You're truly adding good energy to the world. But that's the way we look at it, is you're building relationships to build connections for them, to help them on their journey. And if you do that, I truly believe this in my soul, good things will happen to everyone. They will be grateful that you made a worthwhile introduction to them. And at the same time, something good, you just trust in the universe, something good will come back to you too, because you've done good, right? So that's how we look at it. And again, you got to be interested. And if you're a little bit, someone's a little shy or it doesn't feel right away, just ask questions. Try to get yourself curious about what makes someone tick or where they're from. There's always a story someone has that's going to fascinate you. And you have to have that philosophy, I think, that you got to get to it. So you got to have to ask questions to get to a story or learn something from them that you don't know. There's always something from someone that I don't know, that Landon doesn't know, that Michael doesn't know. There's always something. So if you look at it like everyone has something, you just got to ask enough questions to find out what that is and learn something. You're getting to know them in the process and you're learning something for yourself, and you can make connections for them if you really know them. But if you want to be a good connector and you want to have a lot of relationships, you have to connect deeply with a lot of people. And I just mean quality connection, that you understand them and they understand you. And it should be fun. It should be a fun process.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with you. I think asking questions to really anyone can let you learn more about yourself and them. Because if you're asking them all these questions, you may say like, oh, that sounds really interesting. Maybe that's something I want to do as well. Which kind of leads into our next question of, what would your advice be for someone who wants to be involved in non-for-profits in their 20s? And like, how should they get into it? What's the best path? Is any nonprofit good for them? What's your best advice?
That is a great question, Michael. I truly believe that it's hard to be happy, almost anyone in this world, if everything you're doing is about your job or your private life or serving yourself. Everyone. I was taught that lesson from my mom at a young age, so it was very second nature for us. So always be volunteering, always be helping, always be thinking of those who have less. I mean, those were the values that were passed on generations in my family, so I'm grateful for that. But on that note, I really believe it. Wherever you are in life, whether you're in between jobs, whether you're at a great job you love, whether you're working in a great job you love and you're working a ton of hours, there's always a way to do a little, even if it's 1 hour a month volunteering. But everyone should be connected, in my opinion, to a cause. Those are the happiest people I know. So in the 20s, I would say find a cause that speaks to you. Something like CLOZTALK. You go to our website, there's 230 nonprofits. Part of our whole mission is it's a vetted online directory. We've already done the vetting. They're all great causes. They're all 501(c)s. They're all in good standing. All the money's going to where it should be. None of them are, in trouble with the government. And they're great missions that truly matter, whether it's saving animals or it's protecting our environment or it's helping, fight racial injustice and racial equality. They're all so, so important. And so you can go to a site like ours, like at cloztalk.com, and you can search by 22 categories. If you love animals, click on the animal category, see what's in there, learn what's out there. And there's a lot of ways to learn what's out there. That's just one. There's other groups like One Brick, which one of the founders is a Chicago area guy. They're pretty amazing group. Junior League for Women. There's chapters all over the country, and they help plug in young professional women into nonprofits to volunteer. But you can find something that you love, and we all love something. Generally, it's something you're touched by, like me with cancer. It's no coincidence that I've working with cancer causes are probably the most meaningful to me because I know the world. I've been in the chemo bed. I've lived that. I relate to all these people. It's very personal to me and familiar. But someone else, maybe their parent committed suicide or their brother did, and they want to fight for mental health. And that's great too. They're all great. Find something that's meaningful to you. Take the time, search around, and then get involved. You can join a young professional board. You can just be a volunteer that plugs in once a month. Every group's different, but do something, meet people, connect, make a difference, unplug a little bit from yourself of what I need to do for my job for me, or I need to do my life for me. And it gets us outside of ourselves, thinking about how to help other people. And maybe the biggest positive byproduct of volunteering with causes and getting involved is the quality of the people you are going to meet. Nonprofits and the people that are involved, they automatically have done the filtering for you. Those people wouldn't be there unless they were caring and compassionate and care about other people and care about causes. I mean, who else do you want to be friends with than those people who truly care about things outside themselves? And so I would encourage everyone in the 20s, it's not right or wrong. It's which cause is good for you. Jump in, get involved.
Jonny, thank you for sharing that human interaction and how important that was to you. That was something that you experienced, and now you wanted to spread it to everybody. And same with your newest venture, CLOZTALK. There was a problem that you discovered and a solution that you also found within that. So I'd love to, since you touched on it a little bit, just break down, how did you come up with the idea for CLOZTALK, considering this was, a problem that you had experienced, and how great and fulfilling has it been, for you to be able to bring happiness to other people through CLOZTALK?
Thank you, Landon, for your kind comments in your question. Everything I think we do as a team is about connection. I think we've already used that word in this conversation multiple times, right? It's about connection, human connection, and quality connection, whether it's cancer or otherwise, and then scaling. You're exactly right. I mean, it's a very smart question, because once you're able to create something to connect on a micro level, how do you scale it to make better connections for more people and just affect more people in a positive way? And so what we learned with Angels was, we thought we had a great mission. We had a couple dozen survivors. Everybody was awesome. They wanted to give back. They were willing to give their time, their energy, their story to help other people. But no one knew us. We had a marketing problem, right? Like, we had to get the word out to recruit more survivors to join our team, to become mentors, so we could plug them in to patients all over the country and world to help them. So we were only as good as our mentor roster, our database. So we came up with the idea of a grassroots branding. Let's make t-shirts. Let's make them cooler. Again, I won't go through all the stories, but we tried every color. We put company sponsors on the back. We put mission statement, one-on-one cancer support, the URL, all that stuff basically lowered it. It made it uncool, less and less cool, and nobody wanted it. When we dropped all that stuff and then just the Imerman Angels logo, just on the chest, simple, clean, nothing else, put it in a high quality t-shirt, all of a sudden we realized our friends like it now. They were like, whoa, guys, that's a quality shirt. We use Next Level brand out of LA, an American brand, and it's simple and clean. It sort of begs the question, like, Imerman Angels, what is it? And then we started getting our friends to wear them and inspiring them to be ambassadors really on the streets of Chicago from 05 to 10, those early days. The more they wore them, the more the word got out, and people started hearing about it, what the group does, and people made connection because someone asked you about your shirt. You're going to get in a conversation with them, and the word spread, and survivors joined us, and doctors or nurses even heard about it sometimes, and they would reach out, and then we had a pipelines to the patients, and it just brought us everything we needed, grassroots awareness. And we realized, okay, let's scale this concept. It worked for one nonprofit in Chicago. Let's take the same concept but make it free for nonprofits and no work or no cost for nonprofits, and let's scale that idea for all causes. And the same way we scaled a small group of survivors, to now over 12,000 survivors to truly have impact. Now we're saying, okay, a marketing idea helped us have that impact. How do we take this marketing branding idea, logo apparel, and scale that now, not for one nonprofit, but for all nonprofits? So we've created a network. It's a community of 230 nonprofits, as big as Feeding America and Stupid Cancer, groups like that out there, Muscular Dystrophy Association. And some are small that are just great missions that we love. But basically, they're all in one directory. We know them all. Again, back to relationships. We have connected with every one of them. We vet them. They're all 501(c)s. We talk to them. If they're not local, we'll Zoom them. But we have a deep relationship with everyone, and that's important. And I think it's really easy to be like, oh, let's just whip them up and throw them on the site. That's not what it's about. We want to know them. We want to vet them. We want them to know us. We're always going to find other ways to help them if we understand them and know them. So we take the time to do it, and we enjoy it. It's fun. We love hearing their stories, how it started, what they're working on, where they're going. I mean, something like Feeding America is now literally keeping, last year, 40 million Americans alive with food. And this year it's going to be more because of COVID and because so many families don't have a job and they can't feed their kids. And so I don't know how many more million families are going to affect, but I mean, these are amazing stories to hear what they're doing and how they have 200 food banks across the U.S. and 60,000 pantries, including Lakeview Pantry in Chicago in the Lakeview area, and like how they organize it, how they manage it. I mean, people should be fascinated by how these nonprofit networks work, and we are. And so we built CLOZTALK as a directory of online causes, so anyone can go there. It's credible and trustworthy. You can search by cause, but then you can also shop. You can learn about the missions, you can get inspired, but you can also see a 17-item Shopify page that our designers build. Again, 100% pro bono to the nonprofits. But if you want to buy a Feeding America hat, t-shirt, track jacket, or hoodie, we basically make them one-off when someone buys a single unit, which is really unusual. Nonprofits generally buy 500 in bulk because they're forced to. And the companies that want to make money, they want to do one big run, but then they don't want to spend a lot of money. They get $2-3 t-shirts or hats because it's a lot of money to outlay, and that's a problem. And we had that problem with Imerman Angels, and so we designed CLOZTALK in a way where you can buy a single hat, a t-shirt, everything's quality. They're all the best-in-class brands. We make it one-off. We have a minority woman-owned business. That's our partner that 100% of our apparel comes from. It's called Promolux. Her name's Tyra Hammett. She's in Milwaukee. She responds to all of our orders. Our backends are synced. She makes it one-off, drop ships. 2 to 7 days later, your favorite nonprofit's hat or t-shirt, whatever you wanted, shows up at your doorstep. And then you can be an ambassador and you can rock it. But to your question, absolutely, Landon, it was scaling a marketing idea that worked for Imerman Angels, saying we can make this work for many, many nonprofits and give them a free Shopify store. We know what makes their apparel cooler. We take their logo, we don't change it, but we put it in black and white and gray and white. The simple, less is more, classic colors. We know the right brands. People are going to love it. And then they're actually going to keep it on their shelf and wear it over and over and over. We're like, let us do this for you for free, and you focus on your mission. Let us grow your brand for you. And when we break even and have profits, then we donate 1/5 of our net profit back to our causes. 20% we give back. So we also can help fund them, and they don't even have to think about managing apparel, designing it, and getting it out there, buying in bulk, inventory, like all that is wiped out.
Really magical what you guys are doing. I love how the clothes look as well, and love your point of simple is better also. I think that these shirts, tell a really deep story, because it's look, you're now seeing someone wearing this and you approach them, and then that's when you're asking about their own experiences, what the nonprofit is, versus, if you're having a shirt cluttered with a lot of different images and stuff, I think that it can be a little distracting. So, not just for clothes, I think just in life, people need to understand that sometimes simple is better. Because it just helps you tell more of a story. So thank you.
Exactly right, especially with apparel. And we tell this to a lot of groups. The nonprofit guys shouldn't have to be great at marketing, but you can use your logo on brochure, on a truck, on a website, and make it more colorful and all that. When it comes to apparel, this service is different, especially for men, but women too, we've learned. But if you lower the colors, simple, less is more, black and white, it's going to be wildly more popular. It's also going to attract more eyeballs, because there's something about less is more in the eyes. Like if it's black and white and clear and clean, it's just easier to read. And you want people to glance at it, close their eyes, and they can still see it. That's the sign of a good logo. If you have too much colors or too much stuff going on, the nonprofits suffer. No one's going to recognize their brand because there's just too much going on. So they're subtle points, but when you take it at a macro level, these are simple, less is more is the way to grow the brands.
Jonny, it's truly everything you said today is super inspirational. I think our viewers are going to take a lot from this interview. Especially one point I really connected with was the fact that you just need to connect with people, get out there, get to know them, and it will even help you discover yourself as well. So I think it's just truly amazing advice. Imerman Angels is an amazing non-for-profit organization. And it's just amazing that you came up with the idea. It's amazing.
Well, thank you for your kind words. The credit, again, falls on a team. Any one person tells you they built something epic, don't believe them. We are the epitome of teamwork. We have 12,000 families on this team, and it's the network that makes it work. Because we don't know, is someone going to call us today in New York with, esophageal cancer, or is it going to be someone in Florida with brain cancer? And, we don't know who's going to get that call. But if the network is vast, the network is deep, and our bench, to use a sports analogy, is so long and deep, we're going to find the right guy. Somebody on this bench we're going to pull into the game and say, you talk to that person because you are the perfect fit. But it's the team that makes the idea work. And I think, anyone in the 20s that's want to be an entrepreneur, you want to build something epic, I'm rooting for you, go do it. But two things, try to make it be social impact on some level. And accomplish good along the way. Use your business for a force of good. And two, remember, you will never build anything epic by yourself. And no one ever has. And that's the beauty of it. It takes hopefully a diverse, inclusive group of people. And, a diverse, inclusive group of people together that all care, that are going to build epic things and move mountains. But small teams can do it. But you can't do it by yourself. So find good people, go build it, and try to make it a social impact thing that helps people outside of yourself.
Jonny, thank you again, for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak with us, and not just give Michael and I great advice, but all of our viewers and listeners. There's so much in this interview, substance-wise, and just really, we can't wait to share it. A lot of people are going to love it. You're super, super inspiring. Just thank you for everything that you're doing. Thank you for, again, just giving us the advice that we can now share with people. This was amazing. And again, just thank you.
Well, Landon, you're awesome. Michael, you're awesome. You guys are both great, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep spreading positive messages for young adults in the 20s. And you guys are leading by example. So hats off to you both. Appreciate being here. It's a pleasure.